it's Coven again, and in this film we're reviewing to American Horror Story Coven, Episode 7, The Dead. This by far was the craziest episode of the show we've had so far. I think this was also the best episode of the season. There was a lot of really cool stuff that we found out in this episode. And there's just, bringing Madison back was by far one of the best things they have done, because there's so much going on in every single plot in this episode. There was so much intensity, and it was really, really great. So let's start off with a flashback as usual. We start off with a flashback. Basically, we flash back to Kyle, and we see that he could have had a lot of potential in his life. He actually was a very nice kid. He wanted to help out people. His friends were the ones who were always crazy. They basically just thought he was a big sissy, and they thought he was even gay, because he was just very emotional and very nice and everything. He was just very nice, and they wanted to get this tattoo. He didn't do it, but he didn't want to do it, but he ended up doing it. And we see that he's really upset about this, and Zoe's trying to help him and everything, but she just can't. So then we see Madison, and I think her speech was one of the best speeches I've ever heard. Ever. It was just a really great speech. Basically, we find out that she can't feel anything. Like not even food. She's eating like crazy, and, she's eating like crazy. She even has like a lighter next to her hand. She can't feel anything, and she's tired of it. And I love the part where she says, "We think that pain is the worst feeling of them all, but nothing feels worse than this eternal darkness." And I really love that line, because really, we do not know what the worst feeling is. We think pain's the worst feeling, but not feeling anything really is the worst feeling for her. That's the thing. She can't feel anything, and she's really upset about this. So then we see that Zoe's trying to get Kyle to talk and everything, and, it's not working. And he ends up going batshit crazy again. And now, as far as what happens next is that Zoe basically says, "I'm sorry, I wanted to kill you. I should have. I'm sorry that I have to do this," because she feels bad that she is, she thinks she's the reason that he's going so crazy. The real reason we saw in the beginning is that, 1, his mother, 2, he could have had a really great life, but his friends, people he hung out with, just didn't work. It was just like the people he hung out with and his mother, it was not a good idea. At this point, Kyle's like the exact opposite of Tate. Honestly, I think Tate's a better character. I am watching the original American Horror Story, and I am enjoying it, but I think that Kyle still is a great character, and it's really cool the way that's all going down. But after this, we see, there's something else going on with Zoe, which I'll get to in a second, but Zoe opens a door, and she sees Madison and Kyle having sex, basically. And we can see that she's really upset about this, but she's not really saying anything. Madison quickly sees her, and she says, "I know you're upset about this and everything, and I know you regret bringing me back from the dead and everything, but maybe we can both have him." And she says that she's not done with Kyle, because when she's with Kyle, turns out that when Madison's with Kyle, it's the only thing that she can feel. It's the only way she feels something, and that's why she doesn't want to. That's why she actually did it, because they're both dead, and she feels something when she's with him. She doesn't feel anything when she's around anything else. It's only when she's around Kyle. And it turns out that Zoe and Madison end up having a threesome with Kyle. Now, as disgusting as this scene was to watch, I mean, there really is a deeper meaning in that they both are dead, and they both can't feel anything. We both found that out. That's the real reason Kyle's so nuts, is because he can't feel anything. He can't be with Zoe because he can't feel anything. He doesn't, and he just, it's crazy. So I have this feeling now that Zoe and, that Kyle and Madison are getting together, and Zoe's gonna kind of be like third wheel. That's what it seems like. It seems like they're creating this love triangle, but we're definitely gonna see what happens here. And I definitely really enjoyed this plot, though. I like that we got a lot more of Kyle's backstory and also Madison's point of view. I thought that was really, really cool. Now, at the same time, something else is going on with Zoe, because, Cordelia, in the middle of the night, hears this voice, and it turns out it's Madison, and immediately after she touches Madison's arm, she sees how Fiona killed Madison. Now, she's really upset about this, so she goes to Zoe, and she basically says to Zoe, you better not give any signs to Fiona that you're the Supreme. You probably are the Supreme. I'm not going to say anything, but I kind of have this feeling that you're the Supreme, and if she finds out, you could be the same thing. If you are the next Supreme, I love the part where she says, and this was a really great line, if you are the next Supreme, you are next, and that, which basically means that Fiona's going to kill her. Which is the truth. Fiona basically killed Madison. And that's what actually happened. You know, she killed Madison. And, so their plan is now to kill Fiona in any way, shape, or form. But before this happens, Zoe isn't quite sure that Cordelia is getting the whole picture. So she wants to get some information from Spalding, because, you know, interrogating him last week really did not work at all. So what she does is she goes over to Spalding, and Spalding has his tongue back and everything. And he basically tells her that he did not kill Madison, that it was Fiona, and he says, I will say her name until as long as I have this tongue. So Zoe basically says, you're useless and you're done talking, and she kills him. Was I surprised she killed Spalding? I think a lot of us were, but definitely, like, I saw this coming for a while, because Spalding really is kind of a useless character. There's not a lot more to do with him now that his storyline is over. I don't think they should bring him back, because Spalding he was not my favorite character on the show. I felt he was a good character, but he was just really, really weird, and he was like, I liked his character. I love all the characters on this show. But I think his time was over, and it was a good thing that Zoe killed him. So, that's basically where that storyline ended. Now, the other big, big, big storyline is with Fiona and the Axeman. There's a lot going on between Fiona and the Axeman, and I really want to talk about this part because it was really, really big. Alright, so we saw last week how the Axeman ended up hitting on Fiona, and it turned out that they actually do have sex and everything, and she's kind of doesn't really know what to do, but she wants to feel love and everything. It's kind of like everyone wants to feel love in this episode. That's what it seemed like, is that she wanted to feel love, so she had sex with him. After her little one-night stand, though, she said, who are you? I don't even know you. And he basically says, no, don't do anything. And she says, I'm sorry. I mean, I know that we have one night stand and everything, but I'm sorry. I called the cops, and you are leaving this house, and you're going to leave this house, and you're just going to leave me alone. But then he tells her the truth, that he knows a lot more about her, than she thinks he knows. Turns out that he's actually been watching over her since she was 8 years old. And this was a huge scene. This came out of nowhere, literally. It really did. I didn't see this. I didn't see anything like this happening, but this is exactly what happened, is that it turns out that the Axeman, actually, as I said, he's known Fiona since she was 8 years old, and there was this bully, basically, who was terrorizing the entire Coven, because this is back when Fiona was in the school, and, the one girl was about to, just bully the Fiona, and she was about to attack Fiona and everything, but before she could do that, the shelf fell on her, and it turned out that was the work of the Axeman. And as Fiona grew older, at first he thought of it like a father-daughter relationship, but as Fiona grew older, he got this deep attraction to her, and he is now in love with her. Fiona doesn't believe a second of this. Not a second. She doesn't think any of this is true. And she's like, I can't be seeing ghosts. I think I'm going crazy. I'm sorry, but you need to leave. I think you're a crazy person. You need to leave. Fiona at this point thinks she's going crazy. She is ready to shave her entire head. She ends up cutting a part of her hair, and she's ready to shave her entire head. I think it's a combination of this. This really was not a good thing for her to go through, especially since she's dying of cancer. It's not a good thing for her to go through at all. But that's basically what was going on with Fiona. But eventually she sees the Axeman, and she decides, you know what, why don't I just try it out with him? Because if he does know me, maybe he might help me a little bit. So she does decide to go out with him, which I really liked. I like that they are trying it out, because I don't think it's going to work out well, but I really like that that's what's going to possibly be happening. There could be a relationship between them. And I really like the character of the Axeman. I think the guy who's playing him is doing a really, really great job. I think he's fantastic. Now the only other thing to talk about has to do with this was really big, was between Madame LaLaurie and Queenie and Marie. And not much is known about, not much of Hank in this episode, just like one little call between him and Cordelia, nothing that big. But basically, Delphine and Queenie are on this night out of town and everything, and I like that we stopped at where Queenie used to work, and Queenie basically talks to Delphine. She basically makes Delphine think she's going to give her a whole makeover and make her a better person. And she makes her think that she wants to become really good friends with her and that she thinks they could be really, really good friends. Turns out, though, that she's actually doing this to work. She's actually working for Marie, and she's doing this to get Delphine to come to Marie, basically. And she asks Delphine, what is your worst memory? What is the worst thing that you think you have ever done? And she tells her of this story where there was this girl who was working for her, who was in an interracial relationship with this one other guy. She had a baby, and Delphine ended up killing the baby, and as a result, that woman committed suicide. Now, I don't know if this is true or anything. This could be kind of a weird theory, but do you think that woman could be Marie? Because, I mean, Marie could have come back from the dead. I think Marie probably is from the dead because she's, like, from the 1800s or whatever. So I do think she is from the dead. So I'm thinking that that woman is Marie. The one that committed suicide, that's Marie. And that's why Marie is so upset with her. And then Queenie takes Marie back to, where Marie is. And she says, I lied to you this whole time. I did this only to get you to come here. And basically now they're going to get revenge on Marie. Not on Marie. They're going to get revenge on Delphine. And it's going to be amazing because we see Marie put the red stuff on her face like Delphine did in the first episode. And it's going to be amazing to see. And I cannot wait to see how this is going to work. Problem, though, I have to wait 2 weeks because apparently next week it is not on, which really pisses me off because this was such a great episode. There's so much going on now, especially with the whole killing Fiona thing. I don't know what's going to happen with that or if it's going to work. We're definitely going to have to see. But the other big thing is that they're not even putting on a Thanksgiving thing. They're putting on fucking Green Lantern instead of that, and I think it's really annoying. But whatever. But overall, this episode, of course, was a fantastic episode. I absolutely love it. Let me know what you guys saw of this episode. And one more thing I want to talk about. As far as Fiona goes, I don't think she's going to make it out of this show. I think it's guaranteed that she's not going to make it out before the 13 episodes are over. I think she's going to die either from Zoe and Cordelia killing her or from the cancer. I think one of those two things are going to kill her. By the way, eventually, once it gets closer to it, I will be doing a video all about the fate of the characters and what I think is going to happen to them in the last episode of this mini-series. I think that's what I'm probably going to do because I've been loving it so much. That's it for my review, though. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you guys thought of this episode. What do you think is going to happen with Delphine? Do you think they're going to kill her? I think they might kill her. I thought they were going to kill her in this episode. Are you surprised Spalding was killed, or do you not really care? Who do you think Kyle will end up with, Madison or Zoe? Or will he just, die? Or will Zoe just kill him and think, maybe I shouldn't have brought him back? Do you think the Axeman and Fiona will have a successful relationship? I don't think so. I thought it was surprising, though, that the Axeman actually does care about Fiona. It's not just like he wants to kill her. I don't think that's what it is. But that's basically it for my review. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you guys saw this episode. And I will see you guys in the next video. Okay, bye.